My name is Wil. You want full name?
Yes.
Right. My name is Wil Hendricks. I just recently graduated the massage practitioner program here.
What's the vibe of the school like?
It's great. It's fairly structured. At the same time, it's really loose in the sense that there's lots of input from lots of different instructors. So it's not just one particular doctrine or way of working that you learn. You learn lots of different approaches, and you're kind of able to integrate that for yourself, like what works for you. So yeah, it's a good program. Yeah, my favorite thing about the program, for sure, about the school, is the instructors themselves and the diversity of approach that they take. Having the ability for them to teach what they are best at, and to be able to sort of pick and choose what works, what sinks in the most for me or for the students. I think it's really valuable.
Describe the teachers here.
Well, there's quite a few of them. I only worked with about 5 of them. I've had the ability now, after doing some workshops, to get to know some of the ones that weren't teaching my particular program. They all seem to have really different and complementary strengths and approaches. Some really focusing on more energetic work, some focusing more on medical work or whatever, that's just strictly therapeutic work or whatever. I think it's all complements each other very nicely in that regard.
Why do you think you need to go to school to learn how to do massage?
Well, I mean, there's definitely practical reasons, things like accreditation, getting a license through the state. Those are all pretty good reasons. It's easier to do it that way. But also, it just, for me, like I said, when I came here to the school, I was working on my own stuff just as much as working on anybody else, and learning, working on my own body issues. And so having the instructors here that could work with me on my own body mechanics, teaching me how I'm not going to wear myself out in order to work on other people, not to just burn out after a year or two of misusing my tools and things like that. It's just invaluable. I wouldn't have been able to have learned that from a book or a video. That's something that hands-on instruction is key for. There's no way I would have learned that any other way.
Are there lessons that you've learned from the school here and about massage in general that maybe apply to more than just the practice of body work, but to maybe life in general?
I think so, absolutely. One of the things that all of the instructors teach from the get-go is, presence, intention, grounding, these things. And I mean, they've definitely already, in the 6 months since I started, just really applied to my life across the board. They've applied to work their way into my relationships, into just how I conduct my day. It gives you a much stronger sense of what being centered and grounded can do for you. You definitely can't, I don't think you can work without it in terms of massage, but I think in order to be a good body worker, you have to kind of carry that with you all the time anyway, and not lose sight of that when you're not working. So it's kind of a life lesson, I think.
Anything else you want to say? Any final words?
I'm sure I'll think of a million things later, but I think that covers it for now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
All right, thanks.
That was great.